Welcome to this video on styling and arranging food for better visual appeal. First, let's talk about color theory. Using a variety of colors in your food presentation can make it more visually appealing and appetizing. Think about incorporating different shades and hues of the same color for added interest. For example, you can use red tomatoes, pink grapefruits, and orange peppers all in the same dish. Another aspect of color to consider is contrast. High contrast between colors can make a dish stand out, but be careful not to use too much contrast as it can be overwhelming. For example, pairing a bright green lettuce with a deep purple eggplant can create a beautiful contrast, but pairing those same colors with a bright yellow lemon may be too much. Now let's move on to composition techniques. One technique is the rule of thirds. This is a basic principle of photography that can also be applied to food styling. Imagine dividing your plate or platter into 3 equal sections horizontally and vertically. The idea is to place your food items along these lines or at the intersections of them. This creates a more balanced and visually appealing composition. Another technique is layering. This can add depth and interest to your dish. For example, you can layer slices of different colored vegetables or place smaller items on top of larger ones. Texture is also important in food styling. Combining different textures can add contrast and interest to your dish. For example, pairing smooth avocado with crunchy nuts or crisp lettuce with soft cheese. Proportion is also important to consider when styling and arranging food. Make sure the size of your food items is appropriate for the dish or plate you are using. Now let's talk about plating. Plating can make a big difference in the visual appeal of your dish. Think about the shape of your plate and how it can complement the food you are serving. You can also use different heights and depths on your plate to add visual interest. For example, using a small ramekin for a sauce or a mound of mashed potatoes can add height to your dish. Now let's talk about garnishes. Garnishes can add color, texture, and flavor to your dish. They can also add a finishing touch and make the dish look more complete. Just be sure not to overdo it with the garnishes, as too many can be overwhelming. Lastly, pay attention to the overall presentation of your dish. Is the food evenly spaced on the plate? Is it centered? Is the plate clean and free of smudges or fingerprints? These small details can make a big difference in the overall presentation of your dish. In summary, when styling and arranging food, consider color theory, composition techniques, texture, proportion, plating, and garnishes. With a little practice and attention to detail, you can create visually appealing and appetizing dishes that are sure to impress.